Weaver Virtual Studio is all about enabling and enhancing collaboration with your distributed team. So let's dive into the revision control workflow for Unreal and show how you can work together to make incredible experiences without stepping on each other's toes. First, let's talk about remote projects. If you've been invited to a project but don't have a local copy, you can clone the project. To do this, just select the project from the Remote Projects page, click on the Clone Project, and then give it a destination folder. This will create a local copy of the project on your machine. You can also go to My Projects, select the project in question, and then click Switch Project. Once you've done that, head to Project Overview and navigate to the project using the Local Link button. Once you've opened the project, check that the WVS plugin is enabled. You can do this by heading to Edit and selecting Plugins from the menu. Head to Source Control under the Installed tab and make sure that WVS is enabled. If you need, click the checkbox and restart. From here, we can close this and head to Revision Control down at the bottom. Yours will say something along the lines of Connect to Revision Control, so just head up to the provider and make sure you select WVS from the tab. It should auto-populate with your username and email. Click Accept. Before going to work, it's good practice to create a new change list and check out the files you plan to work on up front to avoid conflicts. To do this, head back to Revision Control and select View Changes. This window lets you see any changes you've made to the project. To create a new change list manually, click the plus icon here. I've already created a change list, so for now we'll use that one. Let's talk about the different revision control status icons you may come across. We'll go over what they mean and how to manage them. To start, a yellow question mark like this one indicates a new file that has not yet been managed by revision control. You can see it also shows up in the window under Unsaved Assets. Once you save, it will be added to the change list and the icon will become a green plus. This icon means the file has been marked for add, and it will be uploaded to the cloud for the rest of the team to access once you submit your change list. A red check indicates that you have a file checked out. It's essentially locked for the rest of the team until you submit it. The red person icon means that somebody else has a file checked out. If you hover over it, you can see who. It's the text highlighted in blue here. If you need to change this file, the best way to handle it is to contact them and ask them to submit the change. But in a pinch, you can always make the file writable by right-clicking and going to the revision control options. Just remember, this can cause conflicts if there have already been changes made to the file. And finally, a yellow exclamation mark indicates a file has changes that need syncing. Let's head up to the WVS tab at the top and sync to get latest. Wait a second, it's grayed out. Not to worry, that just means we have an active change list that needs to be submitted. Before we do, let's look around a bit more though. If you right-click on an asset, you can revert to your latest changes or see a detailed history of revisions the file has undergone. You can also edit the change list. This lets you add notes of the changes for the log. Now let's right-click on the change list and hit Submit. This will bring up a confirmation window with all of your changes and the description we just added. If you want, you can make more changes to the description and then save to go back to editing. But we want to submit our changes so the rest of the team can see them. Now that we've pushed our changes, you can see the icons have changed as well. The two files we had marked for add are now fully checked in, but the new world level still has a question mark. That's because it's still in the Unsaved Assets limbo. Make sure to save before submitting your change list to avoid this issue. I'll go ahead and save to mark it for add, and then submit again to take care of that. Notice the yellow sync icon disappeared here as well. That's because WVS handled that automatically whenever we created a new change list. Finally, since I don't want to risk overwriting my teammates' work, I'll send a message to Marcel asking for access to this level for editing. Once he submits, it will relinquish any unaltered files automatically in a moment or two, but we will need to sync to pull any changes. And with that, the project is up to date and revisions are controlled. But when it comes to the features of Weaver Virtual Studio, this is just the tip of the iceberg.